Yesterday in our City News investigation into the Basilian Fathers, we introduced you to a Catholic priest who admits that he was given free rein to sexually assault at least 17 children across the continent over multiple decades. It's a reality that survivors Jerry Boyle and Patrick McMahon have to live with each and every day. A warning, the details in this story are disturbing.
You knew it was a breach of the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
The two are separated in age by 3 decades, though the tragic experience they endured at the hands of Father William Hod Marshall led both men to the exact same spot where they'd contemplate suicide decades apart.
You abused Jerry Boyle?
Yes.
Being the good Catholic I was praying he'd stop and go away. I was terrified.
Jerry Boyle and his wife sleep in separate beds because to this day, the 79-year-old wakes up swinging punches into the air, trying to beat back the memory of a priest who still haunts him.
Hands in both, every crevice that was on my body.
Fall of 1954, Boyle enters grade 10 at a Windsor high school then run by the Basilian Fathers. Father Hod Marshall would coach Boyle's high school basketball team. In a 2012 civil deposition, Marshall reveals that the Basilians knew about his sexual abuse allegations, but they would simply move him to a different school.
Help me with this. When you go to Texas, are you getting a new spiritual director, one who lives in Texas?
Yes.
And you would have shared the abuse with that director?
Yes.
And when you had a director in Windsor when you were at Assumption, that's a different person?
Yes.
And you shared your problem with abuse with him?
Yes.
And when you go to Saskatoon, there's another director?
Yes.
And you share the problem with him?
Yes.
For a young Jerry Boyle, the abuse he endured would lead him to Windsor's Ambassador Bridge.
I just picked up some stones and threw them over the side and counted how long it took to hit the water. So they could end that quick if I wanted it to. Wouldn't have to look at him again.
In a sign of just how long the abuse went unchecked, the son of one of Boyle's high school classmates, Patrick McMahon, also fell victim to Hod Marshall.
30 years after Jerry was standing at the river, I was standing at the river doing the exact same thing for the exact same reason, all because of Hod Marshall and the Basilians who enabled him. And who knows how many children had the same experience in between us and after us.
City News reached out to the Basilians multiple times requesting an interview. Our requests were denied, and they refused to answer questions about Father Marshall. Through their lawyer, they issued a statement, reading in part, "There has never been any doubt or misunderstanding that sexual abuse of a child is and always has been wrong. But historically, the Basilians believed that the justice system couldn't pursue sexual assault claims for children, and that such abuse was a moral failing and could be addressed by deeper spiritual focus and commitment."
The organization should have been done with Marshall back when he abused Jerry, and when he abused in Sudbury, and when he abused in Sault Ste. Marie and Houston and Saskatoon, and they knew.
It's like walking into this park with a pit bull, and there's kids playing, and you let the pit bull go and it attacks people. And you pick up the pit bull from there, relocate it to another park and let him go. Well, Marshall was their pit bull. They moved him from one park to another, to a free reign of new victims everywhere he went.
Ultimately, I think there should be criminal charges pursued against these people.
The Basilians would settle a civil suit with both Jerry Boyle and Patrick McMahon out of court. Now, while the settlement is not an admission of guilt, William Hod Marshall would later admit to sexually assaulting both men when they were just boys. The Basilian Fathers have declined our multiple requests for an interview. Tomorrow, the call to action leads all the way to the Vatican.